The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, more Fall River residents are seeking out public housing options as the cost of rent continues to rise. The next edition of the Fabric Arts Festival begins this weekend. We have a preview. And Blessed Trinity Church preps for another Polish Food Fest. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, October 5th, 2023. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. As Fall River and the rest of the country continue to experience high rents due to the recent housing boom, more people are looking at public housing as an option. The Fall River Housing Authority sees this firsthand.
I'm going to be at the Housing Authority in Fall River 32 years in November. I've never seen it in my 32 years where the inventory dried up and just the non-existent of affordable units. From a kid growing up, even to pre-COVID, it was just, yeah, there's always an apartment out there. You can go online, you go and read in the newspaper, you drive by neighborhoods, there's a sign in the window. Anybody could find something. With the real estate boom, the market, it's just non-existent because someone who was getting $500 a month can now get $1,200 a month. And they're looking at that income and they're seeing a big difference that they can make. So unfortunately for the long-term renter, they can't afford it, they have to move.
In Fall River, the Housing Authority manages 21 sites citywide for those who are low-income elderly, disabled, and families.
Overall, we have just under 2,400 units. A majority of that is federal units. We have a small percentage of state units that make up about 13 to 14% of our portfolio. Roughly 275 state units. We're about 99% occupancy. We tinker month to month, a percentage below it, a little bit over, but it's been steady around 98 to 99% occupancy rate.
With the overall housing stock limited in Fall River, those applying for public housing are on the rise.
On our elderly waiting list, we have about 800 applicants. On our mixed population list, which is elderly and disabled, we have about 1,300 roughly. And on our family waiting list, we've got about 3,000 applicants. So to your question of pre-COVID, things were a little more fluid. If an elderly applicant applied, they probably were in the unit in 4 to 6 months. Now it's all of a year or better.
When a vacancy arises, the Housing Authority has approximately 30 days to fill it with the next applicant on its waiting list. Mr. Spardella says the Housing Authority usually sticks to that timeline, filling between 18 and 22 units a month.
There are certain laws and regulations that we have to follow. So the process isn't always as quick as we like. Much better on the federal side. So we have that vacant. Probably within a couple of weeks' time, we're getting that person. Anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 weeks, we're getting that person leased up. But you have to verify their income, verify their family size. There's Corey backgrounds. There's federal FBI background checks. I know for years there's been misnomers out in the community that don't they check the backgrounds of these people, and we're very diligent. We have to. We check both the state and the federal background checks.
Mr. Spardella says the Housing Authority is constantly providing upkeep to its units to ensure that all residents live in an apartment that's warm, safe, and dry. He says even though finding affordable housing right now is difficult, there are indications that conditions will improve.
I don't think it's going to get much worse, especially for us, like our waiting list. When I drive around the city, I'm starting to see more homes for sale. So I think the inventory is starting to build up again. Interest rates, for good or for bad, are high, so that deters some investors from purchasing. And I think real estate has always been cyclical. You're seeing a lot of market rate apartments being developed, which I think is good for the city. However, you know, you can only absorb so much, and then eventually you have too much of something, and I think that will stabilize, and I think the affordable units will stabilize.
There may be some good news for Fall River taxpayers, as for the first time in over 20 years, Massachusetts residents will be seeing state tax relief after Governor Maura Healey this week signed into law $1 billion in tax cuts.
We're cutting taxes and saving money for all families with children or adult dependents. The child and dependent tax credit will grow from $180 to $310 this year and $440 next year per dependent. And we're eliminating the two-child cap. That's putting hundreds of dollars back in the pockets of families across this state. A family with 3 children could see their payment grow by nearly $1,000, real money. We're cutting taxes and saving money for seniors, doubling your senior circuit tax credit from $1,200 to $2,400 for our seniors. That's $1,200 more back in the pockets of our seniors. We're cutting taxes and making housing more affordable. We're increasing the cap on rental deduction for all renters. We're dramatically expanding both the HDIP, Housing Development Incentive Program for gateway cities, and the low-income housing tax credit program for the entire state. That's also going to create thousands of affordable homes. We're also cutting taxes and saving money for commuters by making public transit, regional transit authorities, and bicycle expenses deductible. We're cutting taxes and saving money for small, medium, and large businesses so they can compete better, hire more workers, and invest more in our state, and so much more.
We're a little over a month away from the Fall River municipal election. Next week, FRC Media will be hosting 2 candidate forums. This Tuesday, October 10th at 6:30 p.m., join us as we'll host a forum featuring the candidates for school committee. And 1 week from today, on Thursday, October 12th, also at 6:30 p.m., incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan and former Mayor and District Attorney Sam Sutter will square off in a mayoral debate. I will serve as moderator, and questions will be asked by reporters from FRG-TV, WSAR, and the Fall River Reporter. You can watch each forum live on FRC Media Channel 95 and on our Facebook page. Looking ahead, on Tuesday, October 17th, we'll be holding a forum of 2 panels, one at 6 p.m. and another at 8 p.m., featuring the candidates for City Council. Once complete, you can watch all our forums on demand, along with candidate statements and interviews on our FRC Media Election 2023 webpage at frmedia.org/election2023. The Fabric Arts Festival, a celebration of art, music, and community that got its start in Fall River in 2019, will launch its latest edition beginning this weekend. Fabric was developed by local businessman Michael Benavides of Portugalia Marketplace and Azorian curator Jesse James as a way to introduce Fall River to the arts festivals held overseas, featuring traditional and modern art and performance.
We look at it in a way that, like, how do we connect with the sons and daughters and the next generations of Portuguese, because the program is contemporary by nature. So But in this particular edition, we also have a very traditional piece, and we've played with tradition from inception. So we do have tradition, at the festival. But then, of course, we also experiment with the festival. Has it been a concern? A little bit, but the idea is that this is a contemporary festival. We want people to not only, and it's not exclusively, and it's never been exclusively for Portuguese people. We want people to know who just patrons of the arts to know that Portugal has a burgeoning art scene, and here's some examples of it that we bring to the community.
For the first time, the festival is being held over multiple weeks and is expanding to locations outside Fall River.
We know that New Bedford has a really healthy and vibrant arts infrastructure, and Providence does as well. And this is an attempt at sort of marketing the festival that exists in Fall River. So the regional attempt comes out of the thought, or the logic behind it is that let's go to Providence, show people what fabric is. We know that there's an organic audience in Providence with the the institutions that exist there, RISD and just the venues and galleries. So we let's go to them, show them what we do, and hopefully bring them along, get them make them aware of what fabric is, what it does, and what it stands for, and then the culmination, the sort of the climax of the festival happens in Fall River at the very end.
The festival has added more ticketed events this year, but there are still plenty of free activities for all to enjoy.
There's a New Bedford Whaling Museum is a free event. The Fall River Government Center is a free event. Gather, which is this new space that's going to open up on Troy, is a free event. Repose at BCC, which is a solo show by one of the artists, Alison Vieta, is a free event. So there are a fair amount of free events happening. And then, so the other ones are, sort of ticketed events. There's 2 dinners. There's a dinner in Providence. There's a dinner in Fall River. And then Gisela João being the headliner that she is, who's an international world music star at this point, who's performing the week before she performs in Fall River, performing in Paris. So she's part of a world music circuit, and she travels extensively. She'll be performing in February in Miami. So these are artists of a certain stature and a certain scale that, it's an honor to be able to bring someone like Gisela to Fall River, who's used to playing all these international stages.
Mr. Benavides says with the expansion of the festival into Providence and New Bedford, and with Bristol Community College in Fall River holding events, there has been more collaboration than ever in creating the festival schedule. He foresees that trend continuing.
I think the regional approach is something that will stick over time. But it remains to be seen. Who knows what the festival will look like next year. But and again, the festival is, our curator does a good job of keeping us on our toes in terms of a theme. It's every year it's a different theme. Every year it's a different format. Every year we want to be interacting with different venues. Every year in every edition, and this edition was all about interacting with new venues. I think everything we're doing this year are in venues that we've never done anything in. So that's at some point you may run out of venues, but it's about exposing people to creating experiences in places that people wouldn't ordinarily expect, but at the same time also highlighting certain venues like BCC, which has a beautiful theater, a proper theater for a Fado performer who travels the world.
We'll be back with more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Diagnostic Technician, St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, is looking for a part-time diagnostic technician to assist technologists and physicians in the performance of imaging procedures. Job number 197422832. Facility Support Staff Associate, FMC Ice Sports Driscoll Skating Arena, located at 272 Ellsbury Street, is seeking a full-time Facility Support Staff Associate, responsible for a variety of tasks and functions in the arena, including skate monitoring, cashier, and concessions. Job number 197411105. Family Support Navigator. Child and Family Services, located at 160 Osborne Street, is looking for a full-time family support navigator to assist in providing behavioral health services to clients. Job number 197-43337. Medical Receptionist. GYN-OB Associates Incorporated, located at 373 New Boston Road, is looking for a full-time medical receptionist. For more information, call 508-679-0911. The state of Massachusetts has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Center Director, job number 197-42790. Trial Attorney, job number 197-44577. For more information about these and other positions, visit MassHire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the MassHire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the Fall River Public Library and Top Rope Promotions invites you to the Reading Rumble Storytime, the event of the season. It is Saturday, October 7th at 11 a.m. in the library's meeting room. Here are some wrestling fans now to share their enthusiasm for this spectacular event.
And we're going to have some other wrestlers over here, brother. We're going to have the Top Rope Promotions Tag Team Champions, the Beastmasters, here at the Fall River Public Library, brother. And we're also going to have Lady Sensation, Livia, here as well, to tell you guys some wonderful stories, brother.
Ooh, yeah! Children are gonna create their own lucha masks and wrestling belts after the story time, just like my belt. But I don't need no lucha mask. Look at this handsome face over here, brother. A special raffle's also gonna be held following the story time. It's a story time wrestling fans won't wanna miss. Ooh, yeah!
It's a wrestling event you won't want to miss, brother.
Be there, I'll come to your house and body slam ya. Ooh, yeah!
A fall food tradition returns in 2 weeks as Blessed Trinity Church on Plymouth Avenue hosts its Fall Polish Food Fest.
We start Labor Day weekend, and we have a great core group here in the parish, and we've had about 25 to 35 volunteers every weekend. Every weekend we have something going on, and it's been just wonderful, the commitment of the folks to make the amount of food that we make. It's our largest fundraiser of the year. It allows us to do the work we do in our community, to open up our doors for many different community groups to come in here that we don't charge for, and really at a lot of our parish outreach, it supports that effort. So you get some great food, and you help support our parish in terms of the work that we do for our community.
As always, the Polish Food Fest will offer an extensive takeout menu, and pre-orders need to be submitted soon.
We've been working to prepare all of our Polish food, our pierogi, our gołąbki, our kielbasa, all that's in process. This past week we made our angel wings and Polish krasztiki. It's like a fried dough with powdered sugar. Those are delicious. We'll have our breads, our pumpkin rolls, all of those things, our nut rolls. So it's our usual fare, and folks are excited and looking forward to it. We have frozen pierogi to go. Our gołąbki will be fresh, and then of course we also have hot food coming out of the kitchen, and our famous Polish plate where you get a little taste of everything. Cabbage pierogi, potato and cheese pierogi, kielbasa, some rye bread, a gołąbki, and some cabbage soup. So a little taste of it all. Deadline is October 12th for pre-orders, and we'll have food available that day as well. It's on Friday, October 20th from 3 to 7, and Saturday, October 21st from 11 to 2. They can order through Facebook on our Facebook page, Blessed Trinity PNCC. Instant message us there. Email is blessedtrinitypolishfood@gmail.com. And also they can call the rectory, 508-672-4854.
This coming weekend at Blessed Trinity Church, bring your pets for the annual Blessing of Pets.
Every year, October 4th is the Feast of St. Francis of Assisi, and the church blesses pets, and we always do that on a Saturday around that date. So this Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be blessing pets of all different kinds out in front of the church, rain or shine, at 10 a.m. It's been really nice. We've had about, somewhere around 30 folks that show up with all kinds of dogs, cats, of course. We've had fish, we've had birds, turtles, so it's always an adventure to see what kind of animals we're going to bless.
Finally this week, a service was held last weekend at the VFW in Tiverton in memory of longtime city benefactor and FRC Media community producer Richard Urban. Mr. Urban was the host of The Richard Urban Show on FRC Media right up until his passing this past August. He was a Specialist 5 in the U.S. Army and served in Vietnam in the 1960s. He was remembered for his service to local causes, including veterans and his alma mater, Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School.
Richard was a man you could never say no to, for all of you who knew him. If he called you and said, can you be here to speak at this memorial, or can you be here to do this, or would you be kind enough to donate breakfast for the veterans, Richard and I would speak on the phone often, and it was never about him. It was always about someone else. Well, I believe that today it's our turn to say to Richard, thank you ever so much for all that you've given to our city, to our state, and to all the people gathered here, the family, the friends, and those who are here to remember him. I'm sure when he gets to heaven and the good Lord looks at him, the first thing he's going to say is, well done, good and faithful servant.
Looking around, a good turnout and other people that I've talked to, in my many failed attempts to get him out of the city, I realized that he actually belonged here. I'm glad that all of these years leading up to the end, that he was able to still be able to get out there and organize events, celebrate certain events leading to the end. I'm glad that he was still active and able to conduct ceremonies of certain monuments that he loved so much.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the Fall River Public Library and Top Rope Promotions invites you to the Reading Rumble Storytime, the event of the season. It is Saturday, October 7th at 11 a.m. in the library's meeting room. Here are some wrestling fans now to share their enthusiasm for this spectacular event.
And we're going to have some other wrestlers over here, brother. We're going to have the Top Rope Promotions Tag Team Champions, the Beastmasters, here at the Fall River Public Library, brother. And we're also going to have Lady Sensation, Livia, here as well, to tell you guys some wonderful stories, brother.
Ooh, yeah! Children are gonna create their own lucha masks and wrestling belts after the story time, just like my belt. But I don't need no lucha mask. Look at this handsome face over here, brother. A special raffle's also gonna be held following the story time. It's a story time wrestling fans won't wanna miss. Ooh, yeah!
It's a wrestling event you won't want to miss, brother.
Be there, I'll come to your house and body slam ya. Ooh, yeah!
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have King Julian. King Julian is an 8-month-old Chihuahua. His owner did pass away. He is very shy. He does need some socialization, so he does tend to get a little growly when he's nervous. He is going to need somebody that has a lot of patience and the time to put into him. He goes slow. He's very receptive to it. He just don't like to be rushed. So we're taking our time, and he would be yes, good boy. He would be a very good companion. If you'd like to meet Mr. Julian, King Julian, give us a call at Forever Paws Animal Shelter, 508-677-9154, 301 Linwood Street, Fall River, Mass. King Julian would love to meet you. Today we have Coral. Coral is a 1-year, 3-month-old calico female. She weighs approximately 7 pounds, 10 ounces, little under 8 pounds. She came to us as a stray. She's a very sweet girl. She loves attention. She loves to be pet. She just wants all the attention. So we're trying to find a home for her where she can relax, chill out, and be the only one and have all the attention just for herself. Coral will do well with kids. She's a very friendly girl. So I would say kids about 4 or 5 years old and up. Dogs, I would say no for her. But other than that, she would do well in any home. Just prefers to be the only animal. So if you'd like to meet Coral, she would love to meet you. Come on down to 300 Linwood Street. Forever Paws Animal Shelter, Fall River, Mass.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for the latest local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.